Oh, you have decided I not no eat. Why you got buy grills before you fix your teeth?
Why you
How you go
Eli, do you believe in aliens?
We're going here.
We're going there.
Here's the thing.
Are you a believer?
Here's the thing.
You are not For the universe to exist, someone moved something, and that is something that is self-evident.
Yeah, I got
so
you,
who is the first mover? Who is the one that worships nothing?
Oh,
Or
it's
two
me.
more.
It's
Yeah.
me.
Let's do two. Let's do one. You do one. I do one. Because there's
One
one
of the people that online that really inspires me, virtual mentor, probably up there with my top five, is Mr. Kevin Hart, and it's for good reason.
Okay.
I feel like I've watched Kevin Hart for the longest, especially online, from when he was doing that Growing Little Man, etc., etc., etc. And one beautiful thing I liked about Kevin is like saying Kevin like he's my boy. About Kevin is when he was in the early stages of his careers, he would go on, and this is something that I really implement into my own life. He would go on someone like The Breakfast Club. Say it's 2008, right? Or 9. You go on The Breakfast Club, oh, what have you got coming up? Oh, I'm doing this, like I've got this gig, really excited for it. But he always had this kind of attitude and foresight to what he wants his career to be. So I don't think there's an interview I've not watched with him because like the drive is insane. And then you parallel that to seeing him daily on socials and his routine, his lifestyle, and watching how his life's evolved. So perfect example of this, he'll be on The Breakfast Club and he'll say, Kevin Hart, what have you got coming up? He'll say, I've got one stand-up tour. That's like 2008. Next time he comes on, it's like a year later. There's something else he's promoting. I've got a stand-up tour. Oh, and I've got a book coming out. And they're like, oh, dope, nice. Next time he comes on, I've got a stand-up tour. I've got a book coming out. I've got a movie. And he says, but in the movie industry, I want to do this, be taken seriously. But first, I'm doing my comedy, etc., etc., etc. Like now, when he go and what he used to do as well, and I really love is he used to forecast like his jobs like 5 years in advance.
Yeah.
He'd be like, I got 3 movies this year, then this movie, and everyone like does the same reaction, laughs. Oh, you're so hardworking. How'd you find the time? He'd be like, yeah, because I want to be exceptional, right? And then so I've watched him do it, like attain all of these things, and everything he says in an interview, in a few years' time, he comes back, it's done, it's out. He comes back, it's done, it's out. Then how he's moved in a business sense, like making his production company, making everything in-house as a media company.
Yeah.
Insane, right? But now the phase that I love that he's got to is like now when he's talking, and this is something that Ray Dalio talks about as well all the time. Like you get to a point in your career where your trajectory is, yes, I need to better myself. I need to better my family, my friends. And then you get to a point where the balance of income versus effort and then the respect and how you can get things done so quickly means that now you can be more introspective. You can only drive so many cars. You can only live in a house that's so big.
Yeah.
You can only give your kids this level of education. There's no more expensive schools you can go to. So now what I've seen with him is after he's attained all of this and succeeded and said everything he wants to do and done it, now when I hear him talking in interviews, it's all about how do I empower the community I've come from. And it's like just watching that journey from the guy that was doing like Grown Little Man to now talking about I've done everything. I've got my production company. Now I want to bring in people from like Philadelphia or people from my community into my companies and then a leverage deal with Netflix so these people get paid and there's a light and we can tell stories because it's produced by me. For me, that's something that I literally want to parallel. Like that's why when we talk about Mantle, when we talk about Insta marketing, when we talk about anything I'm doing, it's taken from that being of service just from the jump and watching him do it and then his work rate, his effort, his gym effort is something that pushes me as well. If I ever slip up, I'm like, no, Kevin would go to the gym.
Ooh,
so yeah, exactly. I'm
exactly
like Kevin would go to the gym. So having that kind of, I always say virtual mentor has been insane. Perfect example. And then also he's just hilarious. Like there's also that, right? So one of the clips that I think I referenced actually in one of the last episodes in the season was when he's talking about if you remove your ego and you collaborate. It's a very quick one, but we'll put it here. The sound might not be great, but we'll put the clip in.
I'll be the first to support my guy while I have mine, because there is no ego. People don't understand that there's so much room for us all, but there's this warped view that there isn't. There's this warped view that it can only be one.
There's a warped view that there can only be one.
Yeah.
Right? Like that is something I really implement because I think as a guy as well, your first reaction can be jealousy. Your first reaction can be like, We've had situations where we're like, but you have to still like turn up for your buddies because it's bigger than
you.
Just that, because there'll be more things to come. So yeah, someone that I really look up to and something that I always watch if it's his stories, his Instagram, his interviews, like his new program with Peacocks, interviewing JayZ, who's now his boy.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Like for me,
it's insane.
JayZ is that for me.
There we go.
Yeah. So when Kevin Hart and JayZ came together, the both of us were like,
Yeah, insane. Absolutely
Yeah,
insane.
because JayZ is that for me for sure.
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm like, I am so like, I find his story so relatable in terms of kind of the like like unusual kind of growing up with in a place where like they're not used to a place with big dreams.
Yeah.
Seeing people from that hood, the Isas, like he grew up with the Busta Rhymes, with the Biggie, you know, and I grew up in a similar rap environment where kind of hip hop. Yeah, it might be South Sea. Might be South Sea. Yeah, might be. The hip hop capital of Nairobi.
Yes, yes.
Humbly. So like, yeah, where like, you know, we grew up like wanting more than what was given to us. And like for me, JayZ was very easy because he kind of sold largesse.
Yeah.
Sold like this life that, you know, you can come from nothing and be somebody. And like, I feel like for me, that's what I feel like has really pushed my life. That's why I listen to his music like crazy. Yeah, so I feel like virtual mentors do exist. Now this last clip, is the clip that I was going to share another one, but decided to keep it in the wallet because it's not more important than anything. I think we should talk about Stephen Bartlett, Eli.
Yes.
Yeah, this is where because you know, if we're giving studio time to people, it would be a shame for us to not go the Stephen Bartlett route.
Yeah.
He's primarily what we look up to
100%.
for the mantalk.ke podcast. He's like our frame of reference. And to hear that we're now being nominated for African Awards, in many ways, Stephen Bartlett has been part of that journey through the work that he does with Diary of a CEO. And we follow religiously every episode he drops. Where he wants to humanize basically the CEO experience, the businessman experience, the entrepreneur's experience.
Yeah.
And learning that for me has been such a big deal because I took a big leap getting into entrepreneurship despite having a career. So learning from Stephen Bartlett through his weekly episodes, from his perspective, coming from nothing also, social chain. You get what I mean? He's such a deep guy. I'll play you one of his reels. One of these episodes was, if you ask me, one of the best I've watched, the Five Guys one. You can imagine being in an extremely competitive industry like food and beverage. The lessons I picked up from that one, hundreds of gems in every video he puts, but this is one of my favorite ones, and I just wanted you guys to hear this.
When Barack Obama left the White House to go pick up Five Guys.
We're gonna go get some burgers. 41.
That's what makes Five Guys a treat and special.
Sean Eckford, the CEO of Five Guys.
Five Guys has a global cult following.
Five Guys burgers and fries. It was banging.
Covent Garden was the very first Five Guys outside of the U.S. We knew that we weren't going to be advertising. We're entirely relying on someone tasting a great burger and fry and then telling their neighbors or their friends. It has to be, that's fucking fantastic.
That Covent Garden location sold more than any in the world.
It did, yeah, by far. I'm responsible for 225 restaurants now.
How do you stop getting a little bit sloppy and complacent?
We've actually gotten better. The key to that is...
As the CEO of a business that's gone through such chaos, when was your hardest time?
So I had 2 young children. The fact is that there were moments where they woke up and needed both their parents, and I wasn't there. You'll hurt the people you care about in ways that you don't intend, in ways that you don't understand.
So you can hear that.
So that was really actually.
But like the truth about it is that like, the business lessons we pick up even from those videos and like actual thinking about production, going, this is interesting. Let's watch this. Do you think we can replicate this? This conversation was valuable. Do you think we can ask the same question and see the reactions? Like, he really puts into context the power of a podcast, and we try and replicate that in everything that we do.
Stephen Bartlett for me has also been huge because I remember I used to watch him, I think in like 2015, and that was before the pod, right, when he was still at Social Chain. So what he used to do online is he used to have vlogs on his YouTube. And so he used to because he's traveled the world, every week he's in a different country. The New York office, you see him building this office. So I was watching, again, representation, somebody that looked similar to me, slightly fairer skin, but still a black guy in the UK. like run a multi-million-dollar business. It was very strange to see because you don't see that, and then behind the scenes. Then there was an episode where he was at his house and he's like, "I'm building this studio. I want to start a podcast." And this was like I think 20. He's now 16. And watching him be like, "Oh, I've gone to buy these things, and like I'm going to save money and buy it just in a small room, just himself, and record himself." And then after that, he kind of realized that he wanted to get rid of now the vlog stuff and give more value via his podcast. So then watching him now do that and then become the #1 business podcast, like I think in the world at the moment, or definitely in the UK, has been like, I just love seeing people's journeys practically, like watching every sort of step. And then also for me, I think for him, he's, you know, the way for us, we've always said we want to bridge the gap between young people, audience members, ambitious people, and have conversations that can inspire and also bring people
the next generation
from our phone book, like on here, to have conversations they won't have outside. That is literally the exact same MO that I think Stephen has. So even because obviously he's operating at a different level. He's already built a multi-million-dollar business, and we're in the process of doing the same. But like for him to now use that network and just give information free, obviously monetary comes later, but to give that for free for all these years, I think, it's super valuable, man. And I've actually seen now that he's sort of quit it, all of his stuff, similar to Kevin, is about service. Because before you build the business and then it's just sort of service. So yeah, watching him has been outstanding. And also being a multi-millionaire young guy, but still being so level-headed.
It's crazy.
And caring about like...
It's crazy.
Yeah, the consumer. Because some of the lessons...
And the fact that he's black.
Yeah,
so like, and people don't talk about it enough. Like, how that representation is so important.
The dude's on Dragon's Den right now. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, being one of the investors on there. It's been a typically white show, apart from maybe the Asian guy that was on there. So, but Stephen for me is huge, man. And again, like the kind of guests that come on there, like this Five Guys guy, every Monday, it being on a Monday, I remember, especially when I was in the UK and working, when I was going to work, I would listen to it and I'd be like, I'm working, but fine. I've got
I have some time.
Something sort of bigger that I'm trying to draw from this used to set me up for the week. So I really recommend Stephen Bartlett. I think the lesson I got from that Five Guys guy is firstly, obviously, how he navigated the business, but also his obsession with product, and how if your obsession with product is your #1 priority, you don't even have need to market, which is insane. And it's so true. Like just that people, because I think what happened, we fast forwarded so much into marketing, social media, that we actually forgot how essential the product is. So the fact that he's reverted to like the 19 whatevers, where it's just word of mouth, and it's still working, he's expanding. That's something I took very literally, like in terms of now production, product, whatever I'm doing.
You have to focus on the product.
Focus on the product, and then it will sell itself.
Yeah.
You don't have to try and do mimics or anything.
That episode, the Five Guys episode, the one that really had me was where they had an option to expand their kind of menu. But they said we're a fries and burgers business. I was like, what?
So it's
that's not something
people normally look at profit. Like,
we can increase profit. But it's like, no, let's stick to what we do best and let's expand on that philosophy.
And I think, what was the number? He says he's got 12 variables in the burger, and it comes to something
25,000
variables of a burger, but you've still got 3 products. Like, that is a lesson, man. Quality over quantity, and just different variables.
It's insane. It was an insane episode.
Yeah, it's dope.
It was insane.
There's so many. I recommend. Trust me, guys. Diary of a CEO. You will see some similarities. We've definitely drawn inspiration from
We've taken
Mr.
the
Bartlett.
conversation a direction we didn't really expect, because there were some controversial videos we had to.
Oh yeah,
maybe
the Lord works in mysterious ways.
They wouldn't get studio time. I'm sorry.
We wanted to talk about like how controversial content is highly viral.
But I think our audience is way more mature than that. Like, please, we don't watch it. Like, to be honest.
We skip past.
Anyway,
but that was basically what we've been watching and what influences us, even if it's just comedy, and basically how we spend our time when we're on our phone, and the stuff that you probably see us sharing on our socials. By the way, we never plug our socials. If you're watching this on YouTube, we're on Instagram and TikTok. If you're watching this on TikTok, we're on Instagram and YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, we're on Instagram and TikTok.
Good answer.
So there we go. There we go. Yeah, come on. The link tree is everywhere. Thank you always for sharing the content. Thank you for watching, sticking till the end and looking at our average faces for an hour. We really appreciate you, and we hope you come back next week for another episode of mantalk.ke. See you next week.
E.
There we go.